So everyone, based on our latest employee survey, our people are demanding a new way of working.
Can we implement a new way of working but still preserve the old way of leadership? I suppose we could. We can make a subtle change that must can preserve the old way of leadership.
I wonder how do we do that? Is it even possible though?
Well, first we can start replacing Microsoft Project with Jira.
Even though we use Jira, they still need to deliver everything that we have initiated on time and on budget, right? That Project Iron Triangle is still there even though we use Jira, right?
Yes, of course the Project Iron Triangle is still there.
Bruh.
That principle will not change because I'm also a big believer in the Project Iron Triangle.
Bruh.
So don't worry about it, okay? We've got this. That's quite subtle and not so obvious.
Bruh.
Great idea. Anything else?
So I have observed that all of our projects has taken so long to be completed. We should shorten all of our waterfall projects into a week and we shall call that a sprint.
And we should call project requirements as user stories. That's a great point. What else should we do? And we should also map story points to hours.
So because everyone is working 40 hours per week, that means they need to deliver 40 points per week. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Bruh.
What if we have something urgent that cannot wait for the next week?
Well, you actually don't need to worry about that. All you need to do is just flag the user story as expedite item. And they shouldn't complain because in Kanban, we are allowed to raise a work item with class of service expedite.
That's right. They will not notice that the principles of old industrial way of working are still there as long as we use the terms like Kanban, sprints, backlog, user stories, velocity, story points. So we're safe.
We've got so many great ideas on the table. Do you have any additional ideas to make people believe that this transformation looks real?
I have an additional idea. To make this transformation more believable, we should start relabeling all of the departments into tribes and we should start calling teams as squads.
Bruh.
Good idea. I suppose that shouldn't be too hard, right?
I
Bruh.
guess the relabeling should make the transformation look real and believable. But I'm wondering, how do you measure the performance of every tribes and squads?
You don't need to worry about that. We can still measure them as we used to, but
Bruh.
now we're just going to call it objective key result. Because OKR is the new hype.
Bruh.
That's a great idea. I never thought that you can use OKR for that purpose.
And their OKR will be maintaining the velocity to be consistent from sprint to sprint.
Which is 40 points per sprint, right?
That's right.
So now that we have all of these ideas, who's going to execute all of these changes in our company?
Don't worry. I'll call McKinney to help us do the transformation for us.
Why are we using expensive consultants to execute all of these changes? I thought we were going to do it all by ourselves. Empirically?
First, empiricism, as being taught by many agilists, only works in theory.
Bruh.
In practice, doing transformation empirically takes too long. My contract as a CEO in this company is only for 5 years. So we need to do this transformation really fast.
Bruh.
Faster before I can get fired. And second, if this big bang transformation doesn't work, we can just blame McKinney and we still have our job. The board of directors won't sack us. And third, if we do this transformation ourselves, people will take it for granted.
Bruh.
But if we use expensive consultants, our people will believe that we're really serious and really invested in this transformation. And if they're resistant, we can just say, hey, don't be resistant. We already paid expensive consultants. Wow, I never thought of that. But that's a brilliant strategy.
Bruh.
Since you mentioned safe, and we want to make sure that our job is safe so we won't be sacked by the board of directors, what if we also install safe? Yes, that's a good point. Safe was designed to keep our job safe. It's one of the most revolutionary framework in this century.
Bruh.
We can still preserve the old way of leadership, but people will think there is transformation happening because new terminologies are being used in the company.
Oh yeah, you're right about safe. Safe should keep our job safe.
Bruh.
I'll also ask McKinney to install safe for us. So while we're working on the contract with McKinney, can you start liaising with our internal corporate communication about this transformation and make sure people believe that this transformation looks real? Don't screw it up.
Okay, I will liaise with our internal corporate communication. We will communicate to all employees that new ways of working is coming soon.
I'm really looking forward to this new way of working, or shall we say, new terminologies but old principles in working instead. But this is only between us, okay?